In today's video, we are going to create this animated infographic in PowerPoint. Let's get started. Very well. We're going to start by adding a circle and we're going to modify its dimensions to 10 by 10. Now we're going to create a bigger circle. In my case, I'm going to make it 12 by 12. Next, we're going to add a sun shape and we're going to adjust it to the size of the big circle. We go to Shape Format and we're going to align it using Align Center and Align Middle. Now we duplicate the sun and rotate the second one so that the tips look like this. Next, we are going to add a small circle, 1.5 by 1.5, and we're going to place it on this tip of the sun. We copy and paste this circle and put it here. Now, we repeat the operation a couple more times. Now we can delete these shapes. Okay, so what's next? Let's now change the background of this slide. To do that, all we need to do is to right-click on any empty area and go to Format Background. I'm going to pick this gray color. You choose the color you prefer. Okay, so now we're also going to add an image to make the background look a bit more textured. For that, you can use websites like FreePic. This is the one I usually use. So now here we're going to filter the images by vertical orientation and also by the license type. I usually use only 3 images. Let's find one that works for our presentation. Probably this one is okay. Okay, so let's download it and that's it. Okay, so now I'm going to place it here. Let's right click and then go to Format Picture. Here we're going to use the crop function, offset X, and we're going to set it to 2. Then we adjust the transparency to 79%. Finally, we go to Effects and modify the soft edges value to 52. Right click, send to back. Done. Okay, now we're going to remove the fill of the big circle and we're going to modify the border to make it gray. We are also going to modify the line weight to 3. And now let's change the color of these small circles. I'm going to use these colors, but remember to choose the ones that work for your design. Now we're going to remove the border of the circles. Perfect. Next, we're going to group all these elements. So we select them all, right click, group. Done. Okay, so what's next? Let's see. We are going to add a rectangle a bit larger than the circle, like so. And this rectangle is supposed to cover about half of the circle. Okay, so now we are going to place 2 circles. Like this, sized 2 by 2. Okay, so now we first select the rectangle and then the circles. This is important. And then go to Format Shape, Merge Shapes, and we choose Subtract. Now we remove the border of the rectangle and give it the same color as the background. So now magically our rectangle disappears. Very good. Now we're going to make sure all the elements are sent to back, and we're going to move this circle that we had left aside and place it inside the big circle. Now let's select the big circle and the one inside, and let's go to Shape Format. Align Center, Align Middle. Okay, so now we're going to work a little bit on this blue circle. First, we're going to change its fill so that it matches the background color. And also, we're going to change the border to a gray that is barely visible. Good. Now we're going to insert icons and we're going to look for a switch icon. So let's type off and see where it is. Here it is. We place it in the center of the circle. Align it. And change the color to gray. Perfect. Now we're going to work on the text bubbles that we need for our infographic. For that purpose, we're going to add 3 shapes: a triangle, a circle, and a rounded rectangle. Let's rotate the triangle like this and attach it to the rectangle. Now let's make the rectangle a little bit longer. And finally, let's place the circle here. Okay, so now it is important to adjust the size of the circle so that it fits well with the rectangle. Now we go to Shape Format, Merge Shape, Union. Perfect, done. Okay, so now we have our bubbles. Let's now work a bit on the color. Let's right-click the shape, Format Shape, and we're going to add a gradient fill. We click here and using the eyedropper, we select the color of this first small circle. Now we're going to add another slightly darker color. And modify the border of the shape. Okay, so now we're going to make a gradient border. Let's first remove the additional stops. And set one of the colors to match the background. And the other one to be brighter than the shape color. Done, it's looking good. Now we're going to add another circle, which we'll place here at the end of our bubble. Let's adjust the size and position. And we're going to give it a solid fill color, darker. And let's add an inner shadow. Now we're going to add an icon. You add whichever icon you want. I'm going to add this one simply as an example. Okay, so now let's change its color so that it blends a bit more. Okay, and done. Okay, it looks good. Now I'm going to add some dummy text. I make it bold. And I will also add an example description. Okay. Adjust the color and size. Then we group both texts. And I select the text and the shape and adjust the alignment. Okay, great. Perfect. Now we're going to group this and we're going to copy and paste it a couple of times. Okay, we now have to adjust the colors so they match the circle that corresponds to each bubble. And we also need to replace the icons. Once all that is done, we're going to adjust the position of the bubbles a bit. So we select all of them. We go to Shape Format, Align, Distribute Vertically. Then we select the two in the center, Align Left. Finally, we select the ones on the edges and align left as well. Okay, now we go to the fun part, the animations. First thing we're going to do is duplicate our slide. For that purpose, we just need to click on it and press Ctrl D. Okay, now we go back to the first slide and delete the text bubbles. Okay, now we select the big circle and rotate it so that the colored circles are hidden. Now we select the inner circle and rotate it the same way. Okay, we go to the duplicated slide and change the border color of the big circle to make it white. Now we change the border of the inner circle and make it a gradient. This gradient border will have the colors of these small circles. Great. And now to make it look good, we're going to group the colors here and also add the background color of the slide. And we're going to move them like this, so that the gradient border blends with the background in this way. Then we're going to change the color of the center icon. I'm going to choose the same color as the first bubble. You choose whatever you like. Next, we click on the second slide. Go to Transitions and choose Morph. And finally, we are going to click on our first bubble, go to Animations, add Animation Fade. We do the same with the others. We go back to the first slide and run the presentation. Now, when clicking, the button lights up, and with each click, the bubbles appear one by one. So that's all for this video. I hope you found it useful. If so, please give it a like, don't forget to subscribe, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.